dreamer, and everybody's a star.
Well, it's that time of year again. While we won't be strolling on Hollywood Boulevard, we will be strolling along West Street and Main Street in Annapolis for the 12th Annual Annapolis Film Festival. From April 4th through the 7th, you can enjoy more than 70 films, Q&A sessions with filmmakers, panels, coffee chats, and yes, plenty of parties as well. Tickets and passes are on sale right now at AnnapolisFilmFestival.org. But right now, we're going to give you a taste of things to come as we chat with the movers, the shakers, directors, and producers for the 12th Annual Annapolis Film Festival.
That's why she tried to be so.
Today, we're going to be speaking with the directors of a spotlight film, which will be shown on Saturday, April 6th at 7 p.m. at St. John's College at Key Auditorium, which is in Mellon Hall. And I do want to welcome Dane Clark and Linsey Stewart. How are you?
Well, great.
Great, John. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you so much. You guys have directed a film called Sooze, S-U-Z-E. I have not seen the film. I've seen the trailers, and it looks absolutely hysterical. They call it a dramedy, which I think is a new term for me. But it's and it's somewhat relatable to me. I mean, the basic story is that a empty nester mom sends her daughter off to college. Daughter breaks up with the boyfriend who really kind of made himself at home at her house. And mom and the ex-boyfriend develop some sort of a relationship. I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's a really neat premise.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we sort of have always said that it's about two unlikely people that help each other get to a better place. It just happens to be, between a 50-year-old woman going through menopause and an 18-year-old kind of feral doofus that has a lot of pain behind this exterior that he sends to the world as, he's fine and everything's perfect. But they're both struggling in very different ways. And throughout this relationship that's very transformative, they really become key people and help you get through their dark times.
I love that term, feral doofus.
Yeah.
I think my daughter dated a few of those.
Yeah, sure. We all did.
I was reading a review, and I don't know whether this is a positive one. I think it sounded pretty good, but it said, this is a never judge a book by its cover type of a film. And
Yeah.
I think that is high praise. I don't know whether you guys did, but I mean, as I've looked at the trailers on this and as I've read the reviews, this is a crowd favorite. No wonder it's being spotlighted at the Annapolis Film Festival. Now, you guys are fairly young. I mean, so this is not based on any kind of a real life experience that you guys have had, has it?
No, we don't. That's nice of you to say that we're young. It's not based on us. We don't have kids ourselves. We just really, thought about the idea of these two people being left behind by the same person, by the ex-girlfriend. And we just kept thinking about these characters, and there's parts of us in each of them, but, by no means is it based on a true story or anything. It was just characters and story that we kept thinking about so much that we had to sit down and write.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think that you could have, and from the limited bit of time that I've seen it, I don't think you could have picked two better actors than Michaela Watkins and Charlie Gillespie to play the lead roles in that. Gillespie is like... we'll go back down to Fast Times at Ridgemont High and, Sean, a little bit of Sean Penn in there, going absolutely nowhere. Suze or Susan is the one that, she has no idea where she's going at this point.
Yeah.
She's lost. Like she's made her whole life about her daughter and put everything into her, like after her divorce. And so she hasn't really been giving herself any love. And so when that daughter leaves, she has to kind of take a hard look at who she is and where her life is and figure out what that next chapter is. And she ends up getting stuck with Gage, the Charlie character, who is the kid that she doesn't want, and ends up, end up growing and swimming together.
Yeah, we always have this kind of equation that we go back to in this film that he needs a mother and she needs a kid to love, which, she has one biologically already, but one that actually wants her to love. So there's this kind of interesting thing that they're both giving to one another in this particular moment. And the Spicoli reference that you mentioned is interesting, and because we've gotten it a few times, and a lot of times in Q&As, people like to say that they're not sure about him for the first 5 to 10 minutes. He's obnoxious. I mean, he's a feral doofus, is how he's presenting for the first part of the movie. But then by the end, everybody is like, oh, I just felt so bad for the kid, and he has a lot of pain and that he's holding on to. And by the end, I felt so much of a connection to him, and I just want to protect this kid from everything, and I love him so much. And we always laugh because that's the arc of the character. It's like that's how Suze feels about him too. Is you want to be dismissive, you want to sort of put him into a category, but when they peel back the layers of one another, they get to see the real raw stuff of what's happening.
And to that review of never judge a book by its cover, it's like, yeah, that's what this is. Just, exploring as well, of just like how we judge people on the surface and how there's more to them than we think.
Well, I realize that this is also, a comedy / drama. The lesson there, though, again, pulling back into the judging the book by the cover, is really, pretty universal. I mean, I think deep in the heart, we're all a bunch of screw ups, and it just takes some nurturing and some caring to get us over that hump. And that, we see that, I'm involved with a lot of the schools locally and everything else. And you sit there and you say, let's just work with these kids and let's figure out how to get, and I say kids, I mean, it could be adults as well. Let's get them over the hump to be able to do it. So, I mean, I think it's definitely got a great message that's showing around there. You guys have done a couple different films before. You did I Put a Hit on You a couple of years ago, which was a rom-com. Is that your genre? Is where you're, as far as directors go, is that where you're most comfortable?
Yeah, I think we always want to be in the comedy arena, and I guess how we explore that bucket comes in different ways. I feel like with Suze, we really hit our stride in terms of the movies we like to tell have a lot of levity in them, but there's also some dark, heavier themes below the surface, and that to me just feels like those real character, humanist comedy dramas that Dane and I grew up on, I think have been a big inspiration for us. And in a way, I think that this film is us playing a little homage to that, but also it's where we feel we're best in or the most comfortable in, that we're really just telling intimate stories about people that just feel honest and real and hopefully relatable. And if you happen to laugh and cry while you watch it, then that was what we hoped would happen.
I imagine that you're going to be seeing a lot of laughter and a lot of tears, because I think the characters, the way you've developed them, really show a little bit of, and you talked about relatable, but a little bit of everybody in all of them to a degree. I know I look at Suze or Susan, and I totally see my ex-wife as my children got out of college and started getting careers and moving on to, onto their life. And it's like, so what do you mean you're not coming home for Thanksgiving? So, I mean, you've got that whole emotion of losing probably the most precious thing to you. Are you guys going to be coming down to Annapolis for this film festival?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be there for the whole thing. We're very excited to meet people and watch some great films. Well,
that is exciting. Saturday, April 6th at 7 p.m. It is a spotlight film for Saturday at St. John's College. It'll be held in Mellon Hall, which has the Key Auditorium. And are you going to be doing a Q&A after the film as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those are so good. What do you look for when you go to a Q&A?
I mean, I love just hearing what you think or what they connected with or what they did. And it's like, we're there to answer whatever questions the audience has about it. And it's kind of fun when it's a surprise, because you never know something or how it affected that, right?
Well, I guess it's got to be pretty interesting, because you're coming from a naive audience for the most part, that most of us don't know the inner workings of making a film, and sort of throw it out there and go, oh, wow. I'll tell you, I will make sure that I look forward to finding you guys. I'm sure we'll see you on the red carpet when you come to town. Again,
it'd be great to meet you.
Again, Sooze, and that's Suze, is playing on April 6th at 7 p.m. at St. John's College. And I do want to thank Dane Clark and Linsey Stewart so much for your time this morning. And thank you very much for bringing a film that I imagine is going to relate to all 750 people that are sitting in the theater Yeah, I will be in line for it for sure. And I can't wait to see the full thing and see how Gage and Suze end up at the end.
Yeah, I'm excited, and you'll have to tell us your thoughts after.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
Thanks for your time. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. And we're going to try to eliminate any feral doofuses from in the audience this time, okay?
They're fun, too. We can handle it.
That's true. Hey, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Bye, John.
And remember, passes and tickets for the Annapolis Film Festival are available right now at annapolisfilmfestival.org. I've got mine, you get yours, and I'll see you at the movies.
It doesn't matter who you are. There are stars in every city, in every house and on every street.